My husband is a man who is singularly focused on making money. He games regularly, meets his friends often, and watches what he likes in his free time. He's not very concerned about what I do as long as I am happy. I, on the other hand, have a number of interests and can be pleased by many things that make me happy, so that's easy to gauge. He doesn't ask for much and doesn't seem to require much attention from me. What can I do, small or big, for someone like that? Someone who doesn't need me for extra happiness beyond my existence. Any advice? Thank you all for the wonderful, loving, and reasonable advice on this thread. It's so great that people take the time out of their day to respond carefully to a simple, yet emotionally complex query of mine. You are all good people. Thank you for sharing your personal stories as well. Now, here are some takeaways from the post and action from it. 1. The 5 Love Languages book is worth reading for better navigation as couples. I have initiated a basic conversation about the summary but have yet to order the book. My husband's response was all 5. I also game and have a high-end personal computer setup built for a few things, and gaming is one of them. My husband also uses and loves it. I gifted him a PlayStation 5 as a small engagement gift, and we have it set up in a TV/movie room. We have gamed together in the past but are mostly focused on single-player games now. We have watched a lot of gameplay together, but I generally watch more than he does or enjoy it more. He watches or plays Defense of the Ancients 2 daily, which is not one of my interests. I played World of Warcraft with him briefly at his request, but he was already quite bored of it by then, so it didn't really last. I thought it was pretty boring too. I asked him again if there was anything I could do for him that he would enjoy, and he responded just as I thought he would, saying, "You don't need to do anything. Whatever you've been doing is fine." We spoke more after the conversation about the 5 love languages and about how I was feeling a little lost and lacking as a partner. He told me once again that his only focus is making money at the moment and he has a certain goal he is trying to meet. In that pursuit, he has been setting everything else aside without realizing it. It went well, I suppose. He said he would reduce his extra phone time, still attached to a business he doesn't need to be a part of and not getting paid for, and try to give more time to the relationship. So let's see how that goes. Story 1. Make a point of telling him he can have a day to relax and not do anything in particular. Story 2. Get busy with your own life and trust that he will come to you if he needs or wants something. If he seems happy, it's strange to try to push for his happiness to come from you as a source. Story 3. I was married for almost 8 years before getting divorced. I have Asperger's and I am quite like your husband. I am very low maintenance. I am at peace with going to work, coming home, and sitting in silence watching TV or playing video games. I'm not fond of going out in public because it can stress me out and overload me. I was never concerned with my ex-wife and what she wanted to do outside of the house with her friends. It wasn't that I didn't care. I just trusted her, unfortunately. I loved her, and she knew how I was before we got married. Ultimately, it drove her away, leading to cheating. I would have been content with her just sitting with me to play games or watch TV, but she never wanted to do that. She wanted to do the opposite. If he is content, the most important thing you can do is just be with him. If he's gaming, sit with him and watch or offer to play. The same goes for watching his shows or movies. Just being there will be enough. Story 4. While it's important to respect your husband's space and independence, it's equally important to nurture your own. Instead of focusing solely on what you can do for him, shift some of that energy towards self-improvement and self-care. This isn't simply about finding hobbies, but cultivating a life you're passionate about. Have you considered volunteer work, classes, or a project that excites you? Often, the more content we are with our own lives, the more we have to offer others, and this can paradoxically draw people closer. Moreover, it presents an attractive quality of self-sufficiency and may pique your husband's interest in what you're doing. Happiness can be infectious. Let him catch some from you as you thrive in your own endeavors. Story 5. If you want to treat him, then give him massages on a regular basis. He will be forever grateful. Story 6. It's a common thing for guys like that, all essentials and wants, he takes care of himself. In those situations, the best things are the ones we wouldn't normally think to do ourselves. I'd say I'm at a similar stage in life personally. For me, things like these might inspire other ideas. Finish something from my to-do list while I'm busy. I might not notice until I get through the list and realize I never did it, but it's always a helpful gesture. Gifts that serve a practical purpose but are more luxurious than the bare essentials. Things like better quality shampoo is something we appreciate, but we don't care to research proper hair care when we could just grab the usual brand and be done. Food is always a winner, especially when it's unprompted and unexpected. If he's anything like me, he's pretty set in his routine and not very willing to do anything outside that routine. So even though it can come across as begrudging, making plans for us to go out and do new things is appreciated, as long as there are enough routine days between these outings. Story 7. Not a man, so I hope you boys don't mind me joining in, but my partner is like this. I usually get him things that engage him while he's doing his own thing. Last birthday, I got him a 3D printer and he was thrilled. Now, he'll give me a kiss and head off to his study for a few hours, then come back to show me whatever things he's made. I just take the chance to watch Buffy reruns. Story 8. Treat him with respect and let his home be his sanctuary away from the world. Men want a sanctuary to rest and recover from the competition of the world. I'm much the same as your significant other. I'm very low maintenance and require little from my significant others beyond intimacy and the space I need to focus on my interests. I require very little to be happy, but I do need my space and peace. Most men are like this. We don't require much. We need you to not require much from us in return. That's the main thing. Just don't actively disrupt our peace. Story 9. I'm going to answer this assuming you both want to do something. For me, I never asked for anything in a relationship. From my partner, it seemed I never needed anything. However, this was far from the truth. Sadly, I was neglected as a child in a home with angry parents and thought this was just the way to be. It turns out my love languages are acts of service and touch. I had to experiment to find that out and also become vulnerable enough to ask for things so my partner could learn my preferences. I'd suggest starting with touch or service, probably two of the hardest things for a stoic man to ask for. Assuming he's stoic, it sounds like he is to me. Perhaps try a shoulder rub or maybe cuddling more unexpectedly. Do something that no one's ever done for them before, like polishing their work shoes, cleaning their keyboard or game controller, or making their favorite meal without the masking. My favorite was once coming home to all my laundry done and put away, which no one had ever done for me before. This sounds simple, but I almost died from happiness when I came home and my girlfriend had purchased a simple $50 Lego set and a 6-pack of IPAs for us to share as we built it together. It wasn't even my birthday or anything. I didn't know that type of relationship was even possible. I think you might be overthinking it. Think of him as just a normal partner who doesn't know it's okay to ask for things or doesn't even know to do that. Story 10. If the ages were different, I'd be running to the other room to tell my wife I found her Reddit account. On a more serious note, my wife had this issue with me. For context, we have been together happily for over 10 years. She consistently does both large and small things that cement her as the greatest wife ever in my mind. I could talk extensively about her, but maybe one of the biggest examples is when she helped me convert a bedroom into my dedicated gaming room. We put a TV and reading nook in there for her, which gives us both what we need. We are still together, but I can do my own thing. Compared to all of my exes, she figured out how to take the pressure off my quiet time. There's nothing worse than your partner saying, "Okay, I'm going to leave you for an hour to read on your own." That always made me feel like them allowing me to exist in my natural state was some big struggle or favor for them. Be happy with your low-maintenance man, but make sure you are balancing your needs versus his. Story 11. I think that you wanting him to need you is concerning and may be the result of untreated trauma or insecurities. What you describe is a man who has figured out his happiness. Hobbies, social life, and wife. I don't think that his attention is going to fulfill whatever drove you to write this post. Story 12. He is probably just happy with the way things are. He sounds like he has always been independent and does not need much from other people other than you. Story 13. Based on what you said elsewhere in this thread, I think you need to talk to him about the amount of time you spend together. Relationships are built on compromises where you tend to disagree. If he's happy about the amount of time you spend together and you aren't, try to meet somewhere in the middle. Best of luck to you both, and trust the process. You love each other, and be there for each other in the end. Communication is key. Story 14. I'm just like your husband. Sometimes my wife will give me something because she saw it and thought about me. Sometimes it has sentimental value, and sometimes it just matches my personality. Like recently, she brought home a coffee mug with a saying that reminded her of me. It's not about the value or the use. I can buy my own coffee mug. It's the thought of her thinking about me that makes it very special. Every time I see that mug, I think of her. Story 15. Get him flowers. Seriously, men never receive flowers, and it's always a surprise. It makes us feel very cared about. Story 16. It sounds like you're eager to find ways to engage with your husband that make you feel more involved and needed. Have you considered exploring hobbies or interests that you both might enjoy? Sometimes, couples find a new spark by venturing into activities they haven't tried before or by learning something new together. This not only gives you quality time with each other, but also helps both of you grow and experience new things as individuals. It might also help you feel more fulfilled in your role as a wife aside from the traditional duties. Plus, it provides a common ground for conversation and shared excitement. Remember, your worth isn't determined by how much your husband needs you for day-to-day tasks, but by the companionship and unique connection only the two of you share. Story 17. Okay, I'm kind of in the same situation, but more extreme, I suppose. We are in a long-distance relationship, and he's gotten so busy. He is low maintenance, just wants me to be happy, and has issues texting or calling first. He isn't too affirmative, I suppose. As a person with anxious attachment, I feel so unwanted. It's almost like hot and cold. Not that he's doing it deliberately, but when we're together, he's so attentive. He remembers things I said long ago, but then nothing. We've had issues, and right now I'm trying to move on. He says he isn't, but from the looks of it, you'd think the opposite. I guess our issues aren't compatible. Wish you luck. I didn't mean to imply your relationship would have a similar fate. I hope it doesn't. Story 18. I see. Couple of things might be good here. You could sit and watch him play games to learn a bit about the ones he likes. Find a plush toy or collectible related to the games or shows he enjoys. Take him out for a nice meal he likes at a restaurant or even just order takeout. Story 19. I was in a similar position to that in my previous relationship. I didn't want anything from her, except her presence. Just being around her in the same physical space and being casually intimate was worth more than any activity, present, or gesture could ever be. Story 20. It sounds like he is one of those low-maintenance people. They don't ask for things and don't often actively engage in activities. He's probably not used to wanting something beyond basic needs. My husband is kind of like this, and sometimes so am I. What I do is get groceries of things I know he likes from time to time or when I see them on sale. For instance, on Valentine's Day, instead of buying him something, I bought 2 dry-aged T-bone steaks and cooked them with some onions, garlic, and a side of pan-cooked carrots. He loved it. Last year for his birthday, I got him slash-resistant gloves for work since he is a mechanic and used to get scrapes on his hands all the time. He has back issues, so I'll rub his back and shoulders for a couple of minutes if I see him doing dishes, cooking, or gaming. Since he doesn't feel like he should ask for things, I watch what he does and look for things he might not feel like he can ask for. Story 21. Give him compliments and hugs. Hugs are underrated. Quality time is also a good gift, either with you or for himself. If money is his sole focus, try to figure out why. Freeing him from that might open him up. Story 22. Engage with him in his interests. He likes to play video games. Find out which game he enjoys, learn how to play it, and join him on game night. Story 23. To be honest, that sounds like a good life for me, at least being the husband. I am not someone who craves a deep connection. Having my own space and a happy wife around would be best. But if the wife took away too much of my alone time, I would question whether the relationship would be for me if I couldn't be fully authentic in it. I would be open to trying new things if the wife suggested them and if I am at least somewhat positive that they bring me pleasure. Then again, I would never marry. Story 24. I'm similar, I guess. I don't need much either and like to focus on self-improvement. One thing to keep in mind is that simply being there is already a lot, and you likely do more than you realize. It's not because we are low maintenance that we don't enjoy your company. If that really bothers you, then do your own activities and ask him if he wants to join you, or suggest an activity you would like to do together. Story 25. Make memories. Every birthday and anniversary should be a trip to somewhere, not necessarily something grand, but something to remember. Story 26. If the man is happy, then continue doing what you are doing. From what you explained, it seems his happiness isn't conditional as you see it. You say that gestures and treats can make you happy. He, on the other hand, most likely gains satisfaction from simply being with the people he loves. Take a moment to jot down all the things he and others have done in the past week to make you happy. Compare that list to what others are doing for your husband. It could be that this feeling of not being needed by him is a projection of your own conditions of happiness onto his life. Just a thought. Story 27. He's relatively young, so I feel like most guys around that age think that once you've got the girl, there's no need to keep chasing. They believe they've already proven themselves and don't have the emotional maturity to know that girls don't operate that way. You have to give him a reason to keep proving himself. Keep doing the things that attracted him to you in the first place, or wait until his emotional intelligence catches up. However, that usually doesn't happen to guys until their 30s. Story 28. Maybe try to learn a little about one of his favorite games if you don't already, and then, when he's playing not with his friends though, tell him you'd like to try playing with him. Of course, this isn't possible with a lot of games, and you might have no interest in it, which is also completely fine. Story 29. Most women would love that. If he needs something, he will let you know. Do not bring a lot of drama to his life, and I'm sure he will remain happy. Story 30. Don't create random things for him to do. My spouse does this. I'm sitting and relaxing. She'll start a project where every 5 minutes she'll yell, "Honey, can you help me with?" Story 31. It feels like you are describing me here, and I would say that just being with you gives him happiness. Be a couple and embrace love together. I don't think you should leave him alone more. The guy has chosen to be in a relationship, which means he is supposed to embrace love with you also. If I wanted to be alone, I wouldn't be in a relationship. Story 32. Notice what he doesn't have that would improve his day, or find what his motivators are. Sometimes just being genuinely interested is gift enough. Story 33. I'm not a man, so I'm just here for emotional support. But yes, my dad and brother are like this, and it's so hard to shop for people who never want anything and are pretty minimalistic. Like, my dad just doesn't like any kind of small, fun trinket. The only stuff he wants and buys are expensive, high-quality upgrades, so unless I want to replace a grill with something super fancy, which I don't because I'm 25 and don't have money like that, it's super hard to shop for them. I think if you combine this problem of them not wanting anything with them also having more money than you, it becomes impossible to shop for them. At 25, I still make my dad handmade gifts because it's literally the only option of something to get him that he'll actually like. If I don't go the sentimental route, there's nothing I can give him that he'll value. But you can't really do this unless it's your parent, so I still have struggles with some of my guy friends and my brother who don't want anything. I hate going the typical route of gifting alcohol, but a lot of times, it's the only thing I can think of. I don't know, my girlfriends just seem to have a lot more fun, trinkety-type things that are easy to resort to as gifts, whereas a lot of my guy friends just keep minimal things in their houses. Story 34. Desire. I don't need anything either. I make plenty of money, already do the kid stuff, and so on. While she needs me to support her music passion and take care of things, I don't actually need her for anything like that. However, I do need her for desire. Her desire is a gold mine for my confidence. With her wanting me, I can take on anything. When she doesn't, my confidence drops. Still confident, just not as confident as I am with her desire. Can't explain it better. What's important to me is that I want her. I like her. She's really cool. I love hanging out and doing things with her. She does get frustrated in the same way, though, like she feels she owes me or something. Also, somehow, desire being the only real need is seen as negative. Like I should need her for other things, as she needs me for lots of things. This results in some sort of only about sex mindset that confuses me because I love her, doing things with her, supporting her, and so on. Every birthday or Christmas, she asks what I want, and I say, all I want is you. It frustrates her to no end, but it's true. I can just buy or earn anything else. Her desire and friendship can't be bought or earned. It's something that's given, so to me, it's the most precious thing of all. Story 35. Go to the fridge and grab 2 beers. Walk over to him, crack 1 beer open, and hand it to him. Then crack your beer open and sit down next to him. Let him continue whatever he was doing. You don't even have to talk, and you don't even have to drink the whole beer. Just take 1 sip and hold it in your hands. Story 36. I feel like I'm similar to him, and I have to say feeling appreciated and loved by my partner is what I look for. The only shared interest I think is required is both of us wanting to push us forward. Story 37. Trust me. He is living every man's dream. He gets to do what he wants, and he loves his wife, and his wife loves him. It's all perfect. Story 38. Small things to show you care. A random kiss on the cheek, bringing him a beer and a sandwich, and probably the biggest one is giving him genuine compliments. These small things go a long way. Story 39. This is a man who carries a lot of hurt. Honestly, you can tell him that you are proud of him and give him many cuddles and kisses. Story 40. Step 1. Find out what his love language is if you don't already know. There are 5 basic ones, though some people have suggested expanding it to 7 new love languages. Read up on these to understand that people communicate and interpret love in different ways. They look for different things and feel loved differently based on how people show their love towards them. I've always argued that everyone places some level of importance on each of the 5 love languages. If any of them are completely absent, they will feel unloved at some point in their life, regardless of the love language the other party aligns with most. So maybe his new love language is financial. He shows he loves people by providing for them as best as he can. The original love language would define this as acts of service. He works hard because he wants to give you the best he can. When he isn't working, he may be completely drained physically, mentally, and emotionally. Loving him may require setting a boundary or communicating an expectation for his own good. Not because you want something from him, but because he is missing out on the better aspects of his life, like you or family, because he doesn't leave himself enough time or energy to enjoy those things. I don't know what makes him feel appreciated. Maybe he's starved for a kind of love he doesn't think he'll get even if he asked. I simply don't know, but a conversation about it is probably step number 1. Step 2. Men who work hard tend to need alone time to recharge. The worst thing to do is nag him when he gets back. Instead, sit him down and tell him you miss him. Communicate that you want to spend time with him. Let him know you appreciate everything his long hours have provided, but also let him know you want to find time to do things together. Step 3. Men need other men in their lives, so time with friends is good. Time spent gaming can be good too, as long as it's not excessive or detracting from opportunities to do things together. If gaming is his escape, he may decline participation, but introverted personality types need time to recharge. Step 4. There are personality types that do not mesh well in a marriage. They can be lifelong friends but aren't compatible as partners. People can adapt, but they won't if they don't see a need. If there is a behavior preventing reciprocal love, communicate your wants and needs. People can change, but they won't try if they don't think there's a problem. When bringing up the topic, don't be accusatory. Instead, simply say, I miss spending time with you and doing things together, for better results. Hope some of this helps. Also, not to victim blame, but consider if you focus too much on the time he spends alone and not enough on the time together. Is the balance really that far off? Men who have many interests are rare. Most are simple with few passions. Some passions may be suppressed, and they work hard and game to avoid acknowledging dissatisfaction. Consider if he has hidden passions or talents. Reviving a dream could involve you and be beneficial. I'm just throwing ideas out there. Story 41. This subreddit is so unpredictable. I asked the same thing a few months ago and got criticized for wanting to get my husband a gift for a special occasion. Story 42. To please the average man, sit on the end of the couch, have him lay down with his head on your lap, and just stay there like that. Also, let him enjoy some intimate time after dinner if you both feel like it. For your husband in particular, you're his wife, so you know him better than anyone online. Maybe ask his mom what his favorite childhood meal was and make it for him. Story 43. My husband, 27, is singularly focused on making money. He also games regularly, meets his friends often, and watches what he likes in his free time. Which is it? Does he game and meet with his friends, or is he singularly focused on making money? Story 44. You mentioned that he games regularly. You can make him happy by leaving him to his games, only bothering him to ask if he wants food or drink. Also, suggest a game night with his friends coming over and playing the gracious host. Story 45. Cook something for him or watch him play if you're interested. I always love it when I have someone to share what I think is interesting in that video game, especially if it's a single-player game. Online multiplayer is something else. Story 46. So, after reading some of your messages and others' responses, I think some questions need to be asked. What is it that you want? Are you getting what you need out of this relationship? There are, after all, two people in a relationship. Story 47. He already has plenty you can treat him with. You just don't see it because you're unfamiliar with his interests. Gaming is potentially a massive category, depending on how large a variety of game genres he loves. The same can be said about the other ways he spends his free time. If you don't know, then there's not much you can do other than guess or ask, and he may or may not give a helpful answer. You then need to accept that you can only work with what you've got. How about food? I've heard people need that to survive. Is there a specific dish he loves? You could make that for him, or maybe there's a restaurant he loves or wants to try. I am similar in the sense that I don't ask for much, but I would absolutely love having one of my favorite dishes made for me. You should also be careful because at the end of the day, if he truly doesn't ask for much, you shouldn't force it or constantly bring it up. That can potentially get annoying, or he may feel guilty and just suggest something so it's over with, not really enjoying it. The main point is to enjoy it. Story 48, you mentioned friends, TV shows, and gaming. Are those his interests and hobbies? Focus on those. Also, sex. Story 49. Big thing is just matching his energy by not pressuring him to be responsible for your happiness. Most gamers I know would be thrilled to have their significant other join some of their games. Story 50. Once in a while, make him a sandwich, give him a beer, and then just walk away. Don't say anything. It'll stay with him forever. Unsolicited acts of kindness are also an option. Story 51. Well, does he like gaming on a PC or a console like PlayStation or Xbox? Gift ideas for him could be as easy as a gift card for what he likes to play, such as Steam, PlayStation Plus, or Xbox Live. It just takes a little research. Spending time with him could be as simple as asking about the games he plays or maybe asking him questions about the lore behind the games. Gamers typically love discussing video game lore, assuming he's into games with a storyline. If they're primarily first-person shooters, maybe you could try playing with him sometime. If it's not for you, that's okay. I wouldn't try to force it if you just don't like it. Story 52. I mean, a nicely prepared meal never goes unappreciated. Beyond that, an occasional compliment is always welcome. Even something as simple as, "I appreciate you," or "You're great," can make a person's day. Story 53. Most men are relatively simple like that. I think it's great that you care enough to ask and make an effort. Enthusiastic sex, a good meal, companionship, affection, and doing your part to keep the house are just about everything. You could also just ask him if there's anything he wants. Also, when things fail, look at creating memories by having experiences together. Story 54. As a human being, he also has wants and needs. He hasn't learned to treat them as important. This is quite common among men. I used to believe in my heart that expressing my desire for something to a friend or girlfriend would make me difficult to deal with, high maintenance, and therefore less lovable. Your husband doesn't see that the opposite is the case. Because he does not express his wants and needs to you, you are left guessing at how to love him well and how to express your care for him. He can definitely overcome this, though. I'd recommend considering the book No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover. It may resonate with him. Story 55. Spend time with him, even if you are just in the room while he plays games, and show interest in his hobbies. You could make dinner for him or do something thoughtful. There are many small things you could do that I'm sure would be appreciated. I am similar to your husband in the ways you described, and sometimes just knowing someone who loves you is present is enough. Story 56. Ask him what his ideal day is. Tell him to go into as much detail as you can. Could be as simple as bringing him snacks and beer while he's doing whatever he's doing. You could learn a bit about massage and offer to give him one. Every man is different, but this would be my starting point. Asking what his ideal day would be. Story 57. Exist with him? One of the things I would love to do with a partner is simply be together. I had a girlfriend who was a big gamer like me. When she played games, I would hang out on the couch with her, either reading a book, playing another game, or whatever. Cuddling while gaming is a great thing. Another time when I was gaming with the guys, she made cookies, and it was epic. Story 58. A pocket multi-tool is always appreciated. And he may think he doesn't need one, but he's wrong. Story 59. You could find a game to play together. Not something he already plays, though. Find something that's just for the two of you to play sometimes. Story 60. There's something known as the 5 Love Languages by Gary Chapman. I highly recommend looking into which of these speaks to you and your husband. The 5 love languages are acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch. The book goes into greater detail. Story 61. Hey, beginner wife on Instagram has really good advice for situations like this. You should just ask him what he wants or needs from you. Story 62. Understand his routine and passions or hobbies, and look for ways to make it easier for him. For example, if he wakes up at 4 a.m. to work out and then has breakfast at 5 a.m., make sure you prepare breakfast and coffee for him. Saying something nice and meaningful goes a long way. Story 63. If I have a girlfriend, then you can bet I will be gaming less and spending more time with her. Let him know you want to spend more time with him and give him a few chances. Story 64. How did you get together in the first place? It sounds like this guy mostly ignores you and is happy that way. What attracted you to that? Story 65. Bend over in front of him and, if it makes you happy, let whatever happens happen. Men are completely that simple. Story 66. Enjoy. For some, it takes years to find what makes them happy, but if you feel like you have things to do and he is cool with it, give it gas. Can only get better. Story 67. Just take notes of things he likes. Then surprise him with things he enjoys. Or find items that fit the hobby or activity he likes to do. Story 68. Bill Burr does this excellent bit about the day his wife made him a sandwich without him asking for it. Maybe something like that. It's a hilarious bit. Story 69. It seems like a you problem. Most men are independent, and it's just the way we are. If you have anxiety or insecurities, work on that. If you truly believe your husband is not spending enough time with you, just tell him and discuss the solutions. Story 70. Make his life easier. Cook him food. Try stripteases and keep the house clean. Men love ease and peace. Ask him questions about his video games and listen quietly. Men talk about their wants. It just takes someone to listen and catch them in conversation. Story 71. A simple piece of advice that helps me greatly for birthdays and Christmas is to ask, what can I get or do for you? If he is hard to figure out, just ask. Even if there is nothing you can do, the fact that you asked can mean a lot. Story 72. Oh, this is not going to end well. I assume the original poster is planning on marrying this guy. It feels like their marriage will follow the traditional path of he goes out and earns a lot of money, which takes a lot of time. The wife gets bored and feels neglected, so she divorces him and takes the house, kids, and money. Sadly, I've seen this scenario play out too many times. He will end up devastated because he doesn't understand what he did wrong. Marriage is a partnership and he is mainly a solo player. Story 73. Respect. If you can't offer that, nothing else matters. Respect is what will keep you from making the mistakes that will cause him to leave you. Story 74. It seems like he has a specific goal in mind. With tunnel vision, he knows that if he gets distracted, it will frustrate him and probably mess up what he is going. I would suggest being patient with him, but also keep up with friendly reminders in a way that keeps his mind off you actually asking, if you know what I mean. Entice, seduce, or friendly tease. I know how someone like that can be, and they tend to get frustrated at times if you bother them. He has to make time for you, and I'm sure missing a day wouldn't hurt whatever he's doing. Can't just be all work and no play, and self-care is important. Story 75. I'm a 25-year-old male on the same path as your husband to reach my financial goals within a certain time frame. It's not that he's only focused on money. He only sees money. I too have ignored loved ones in this pursuit, and it's something I regret. Even after realizing all the time I've missed, I would still do it all over again. I'm not saying look elsewhere. I'm just saying the road he's walking on is a lonely one, and you being there makes no difference to him based on what you have said. Your only option is to make him see how his way is affecting you before it's too late. I lost a 4-year relationship because I couldn't see the emotional and mental burden I was putting on my partner by having her carry the entire relationship. Story 76. He should give you all the attention you want, even when you are happy, because you are his wife's priority number one. Just tell him directly how you feel. I think that works best in almost all cases. I'm not a professional therapist, but I do think sharing your thoughts on everything with your significant other is a must. Story 77. He has needs, but he's afraid to state them because he's been taught that men who have needs aren't worth having a partner. It will take some time for him to feel comfortable enough to open up about that to you. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.